thanks for coming to WebWay 1 today. Very nice to see you. Tell us a little bit about how WebWay technology enables those 4i services and a bit about those services you deliver to customers.
Well, 4i has a number of our own software products that we had some really great software and some really great panels, but we hadn't got something to connect them through together to us. And we tried an awful lot of the traditional signalling methods, and we just could not get the information to us in a reliable or informative way, which is when we looked at WebWay products.
Right, okay. And tell us a little bit more about those services that you're then delivering to customers using that data from the integration that we provide to those systems.
Well, one of 4i's products is our core box product, which we guarantee to eliminate 98% false alarms from the current setup. And we also have apps that are on the Apple iTunes Store, on Android and on the web. But the more common product that we sell with the anti-false alarm is we have a guarantee that if you use our products, that we will give you the 98% false alarm reduction, and if we call you out to a false alarm, you'll get £200 compensation from us. So what was key to us is to be able to get a lot of the information from the panels through to our central station so that we could make the right decision. Do we need to disrupt the customer and the emergency services, or was it just a fault that we could deal with through our help desk? And WebWay gave us that information so that we could deliver that to the end user.
Fantastic. Matthew, that's really interesting about the false alarm reduction. As at WebWay 1, we've worked with end users as well who have desperately tried to reduce false alarms because of that sort of the hidden cost of false alarms. Do you want to expand a bit, give us a bit of a case study on things that you've done and improve things for customers?
Well, we've done a number of blue chip customers who were having really excessive amounts of costs to their business for false alarms through the cost of the alarm company for the call out, the waiting on site, the increased insurance premiums, and we've had a particular college up in the northwest. They were running at a false alarm rate of 60 call outs per year, so they'd lost the faith in the system, they'd lost the faith in the signalling device, they'd lost complete faith in actually the product delivering what it should do. So they implemented our product 2 years ago and took us up on the offer of the guarantee, and they thought that they were going to have a very good slush fund for the £200 paybacks. But the reality was, in the last 24 months, there have been no false alarm call-outs across any of the 5 buildings on the campus, and the one incident where they were broken into, we got the emergency services to site as we should have done, and because the false alarm rates had reduced, the police treated it as an immediate call, and there was actually an apprehension of the intruder, so it worked quite well for the end user. Some of the retail chains we've got under ever-increasing pressure for margin, so the few £100s a year they may pay for monitoring is sometimes shadowed by the thousands that they're paying in lost productivity, people not coming in the following day, downtime, and having to have new systems installed because to get their police response back. So the core box platform fixes all them problems, and WebWay is really at the heart of that product as well.
That's fantastic. I think that's a really great case study and something that we see as well. It's that hidden bleed, that hidden cost, and that sounds like a really impressive case study. You talked about the reduction in business interruption from a key holder point of view and that security element. What about from an engineering point of view? What does WebWay bring to your business from a remote service and maintenance point of view?
Well, as a service provider, one of the biggest challenges we faced was being able to determine which calls from the customers we really needed to be on site to deal with and were critical issues, or which were actually maybe issues that we could have all dealt with remotely. And using traditional signalling methods, we just didn't have that information. We had to treat every single require for help as really as an immediate necessity, and that's difficult. We have systems across the country, and we have a limited number of engineers, as any company does, and we need to get the right resource to the right people.
Sure.
So when we implemented WebWay, we could suddenly get some very rich data through to our monitoring centre to decide if it's, for example, just a power failure and everything's okay, we can just reset the system for the customer without having to waste their time keeping them on site, and more importantly, not having to charge them a lot of money for going out for an unnecessary visit.
Yeah.
And that's impacted on the number of service calls, that for every 1,000 calls we get in, we now can deal with roughly 900 of them without an engineer visit. So that's had a massive impact on our staffing levels, being able to have the time to spend with our customers because they're now not running around for things that they didn't need to, which is what we had to do in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there has, I guess, if there has been a failure in the fixed line circuit, you know, you're getting that benefit over the wireless as well. So,
yes,
you know.
because we tried some competitor products to WebWay, and that were using dial capture technology, which proved so slow and so unreliable on the fixed line, and over GPRS it really didn't work. So I was very sceptical when WebWay claimed that the upload download over the GPRS would actually indeed work.
Yeah.
And we've been very happy in that it works. It's slightly slower than the fixed line,
Sure.
but with any IP solution, if the customer has got an issue with their IP that is outside our control, just in the same the phone lines were always outside our control, that we can go in over the GPRS, still give our service levels to our customers, and we're not dependent on their broadband or telecoms providers, which we always used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got that whole continuity of service.
Yes.
It's completely independent of the fixed line service, whatever that may be.
They are, because one of the problems we used to have, even when we had upload, download prior to WebWay, was that if the IP path was not working, that we still had to engineer visit it.
Sure.
Whereas now we can just go in over the GPRS path and still get the right solution to the customer without having to disturb them.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for that, Matthew. Really concise and very interesting discussion there about the efficiencies that you bring. Do you want to tell the audience exactly how they can engage with 4i and how they can see these solutions? Sure.
We have an area in our data centre up at Blackburn where there's a demonstration of all the different intrusion panels, fire panels, all integrated with WebWay. We do have open days throughout the year, but we're more than welcome to anybody to come have a look and see the products actually in action. And you can make contact on our website, which is www.4isecurity.co.uk, and we'd be happy to hear from anyone who wants to support the WebWay product.
Excellent. Thanks for spending your time with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again. Cheers.
Thank you.